America, and welcome to the Home Front. My name is Michelle Posey. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a wonderful panel of women today. Got some fun topics to talk about, but first, I'm a little hungry, so I want to start with this, with a question around food, ladies.
Oh, no.
So,
my word.
when we introduce ourselves to our audience, I want you to give your name, but then today, let's talk about, I almost hate to say this. If you were like somewhere on a deserted island, you could only eat one food for the rest of your life. I want a commitment. What would that food be? We'll start with Allie. Go ahead.
Nope, I decline. I do not want to participate in this one. I think if anyone were to eat anything for the rest of their lives, it'd be very boring and very dull. But if I had to choose, I guess it would be arroz con pollo. Chicken and rice.
Arroz con pollo.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And you'd probably be very healthy for it.
Maybe.
I love it. I love it.
So I am Demi, and I think I would say it would be arroz con gandules and
Making me hungry.
Rice
pollo
and beans.
guisado.
Yeah.
It's rice
Pollo
and beans
guisado.
and like a really good, nice piece of chicken that you're not
It's like a chicken
sauteing.
stew.
It's almost like a
Yeah.
stew.
Oh.
It's so hearty. You put like
And you put it over.
potatoes and
It's so
carrots and
Okay.
but you use yuca instead of potatoes.
Yes.
And some people love
Listen.
it with corn. I don't, because I can't eat corn, so I don't make it with corn. But it's just this ensemble of savoring,
Ooh,
yummy
yum.
food, and it's super tender. And if it's made just right, it's like drooling. It's really
I'm
good.
currently. It's so good.
It is.
Okay. I want. We're dinner at Demi's. I love that. Oh my gosh.
Hi, I'm Brianna, and it's funny. I'm Mexican, but I'm gonna have to say gator bites.
Gator bites.
I'm sorry,
Those
but
are yummy.
they're
Florida
so good.
They're so
Do you
good.
know, Brianna, do you remember the first time you had gator bites?
Yeah.
Do you remember how we got you to eat them?
No, Mom, you always tell the story and it's wrong. You did not tell me that it was chicken.
That it was chicken.
No,
Your dad
that's
did.
not what it was at all. I ordered gator bites because I wanted to. That's Brandon's story. You're
Oh, is it
mixing up your
Brandon's story?
children.
Oh
She
no.
does, and I
gosh.
literally, this is like the third time this has happened. Like, no, Mom,
That
it's
was your
Brandon.
son. Are you sure?
Yes, I voluntarily ate gator
love
bites
this.
Because
because
your
I'm
dad's
crazy.
like, she won't eat gator. And I'm like, tell her it's chicken. You know?
No, okay, no, that's Brandon. Okay.
That's funny.
It's funny what you
I'm
remember.
not a
I
fan.
like gator bites.
Yes,
gator bites
Dad
are yummy.
said that he liked gator bites, and I just wanted to be exactly like Dad, so I ate gator bites.
Oh.
No swamp puppy for me. Thanks.
You know what? Not everyone can be cool, Allie. It's okay.
I just have to accept it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
It's
okay.
you.
Go live.
Oh my goodness.
Well, my name's Sierra, and funny, my friend once said, I have some gator for you. You want to try it? And I said, sure, I'll try it. So I ate it, and then he told me it was actually armadillo.
You had armadillo?
Yes.
Yuck.
Was it good?
I don't remember. I
Oh.
don't think it was really that
should
great
try
or
it. It
terrible.
It wasn't
or
memorable,
anything.
so no,
So-
that was
I'll
a
try it.
negative.
But that would not be my main meal. If I had to
Good
pick,
Lord,
I'd probably
no.
pick pot roast. My
Pot
mother,
roast?
sorry to my
Sounds
own dear
delicious.
mother, but my mother-in-law's pot roast is amazing.
Oh wow.
I don't know if she makes it or if my father-in-law makes it, but it's so good.
That
And
sounds delicious.
I feel like there's enough variety in a pot roast with the vegetables that you could maybe get through on it.
You know,
Yeah.
I've killed a few armadillos, like hit them
Same.
while
With
driving.
your car?
Yeah, while
No.
driving. Look,
But
Mom, roadkill.
But like now I know a new meal I can make, you know?
Oh,
Next
gross.
time I hit an
no.
armadillo.
Jello stew.
Just
Yeah,
the thought of
exactly.
it makes me gag.
Oh gosh, now I'm like you lost my appetite.
Really?
You're
I'm
welcome.
hungry.
You were
Oh,
hungry
roadkill.
before, now you're not.
Wow. My name is Michelle, and I would say what I really crave most of all, and if I could take it with me on a deserted island and just gorge in it, it would be my mom's tamales. She makes them from scratch, and I usually only get them around the holidays. That's when she'll make a bunch, and we kind of load the freezer full of them. But tamales, oh my gosh! But now I'm going to be leery of like, what's the meat inside?
Oh no.
Is it going to be armadillo? Is she trying to feed me armadillo and not tell me?
Or is
it
it
like
swamp puppy?
swamp puppy?
Miss Girl.
Oh, don't ruin the tamales for me.
I don't even know what
Miss
tamales
Girl.
are.
Oh,
Is that terrible?
No, you know what? We will have a home front episode that takes place in a kitchen.
Yes.
and we'll all
We have
sample.
to.
Or we can like
Yes.
potluck our food.
Potluck our food. Oh, I love that. You heard it. It's going to happen.
Stay tuned.
Ladies, so we've got an election season. We talk about the election all the time on here, but I came across an article. This floored me. Minnesota now has permanent absentee ballots.
What does that mean?
Say what?
Permanent absent. So an absentee ballot means I'm not going to go vote in person. So I'm just going to. It's like vote by mail, right? But it's permanent. Like you don't have to reapply.
Minnesota.
Yes, Minnesota. But
what happens if you're dead?
confused.
Right, but get
What
this.
happens then if you die?
Well, you vote for Biden then. But there's eight other states that already have this. Yes, the states are. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even believe this. So you got Arizona,
Wow.
Maine, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota. What's with the M names? Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, and Virginia, as well as Washington,
Aren't those
D.C.
all Democrat states anyway?
I'm noticing a pattern.
I'm
Right?
just saying, if I'm mistaken, please correct me. I like to be corrected all the time. So I'm just wondering, is that a false accuracy? And
Coincidence?
a false,
I think not.
like
You can, with this permanent
Be
absentee
weary.
ballot, you can vote. Listen to this, as early as 46 days before an election.
Oh, absolutely not.
no, there's not even time to have real, genuine,
Absolutely
debates
not.
about that.
That's
You miss
that's
all
might be
of it.
before some debates even happen.
Oh my gosh, what is
Why?
happening to
It doesn't
this
matter though
country?
because they're dead. Like so many of them,
It's
so
just like
they're
they're
not
all
going to be
dead,
watching
so
the
it doesn't
debates
matter.
anyways, right? And to that point, my uncle, God rest his soul, passed away last year, and his sample ballot still arrived. So I don't know if his absentee ballot, because he was a truck driver, so he wasn't always in town. I don't know if his absentee ballot came or not, or if it was just a sample ballot, but it arrived. His mailing, whatever, I won't get into it. Anyways,
So even
we
though he
need
was
to clean the
deceased-
rolls.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. And like Allie said, so you just it's like giving somebody a license and never asking them to like. It never expires.
Right.
We don't want to know if your vision's changed, if you're,
That's absurd.
Tell me you're about cheating without telling me you're cheating.
That's pretty much what they're
That's
doing.
Right. Exactly. Where is everybody in these 8 states? Hello?
I
So
know.
how did that get passed? I mean, did
It's through
people
the state-
vote on that?
It's through the
Is
state
it
legislature.
Okay.
So your states really have an enormous amount of power on. That's where all of your election laws. Other than the big one that we just talked about in the previous episode, where you have to be an American citizen to vote. That's the one that's federal. But as far as how that's played out, it's up to the states.
Absolutely. I think this
So-
is why it's so important that we keep reiterating that you have to be locally involved. You have
Yes.
to make sure that you're plugged in, whether that's and I highly suggest your local GOP. Yes, right
Yes.
now they're terrible and they don't represent you properly. But the only way that you can apply the political pressure at the appropriate political pressure points, you have to know what you're doing and you have to be plugged in.
Right.
In order to stop these legislators from completely stealing your election from out from underneath you.
I just thought of something, Brianna. So you're our baby that is going to be voting for the first time this year.
Yes, ma'am.
You never went to register to vote, right? They sent your voter ID card.
I think they just sent my voter ID card, but I think it's because I did it online.
Is it when you got your license that they?
I don't know.
I was just realizing that something came from the party that said, that here's your voter ID card. But I don't remember you actually.
I don't think
going
I
and-
ever did. I register?
I don't think you. I mean,
I don't
I'm not-
remember.
You might
Don't
need
know.
to right away.
Well, she is
Well, I
registered.
I am
But she doesn't.
registered.
I don't remember her registering. I'm like wondering how that happened.
Would it have happened when I changed my party affiliation?
But originally, the first time that you were registered to vote when you were NPA.
I didn't get one when I was an NPA. I got one after.
Does that trigger automatically when you get a license? Like, do they?
I think it
I know they
does
always
here.
ask you when you get
Oh.
a license, they ask you if you're registered to vote
Right.
and you can do it right then
Right
and
there.
there.
Oh,
at the
maybe
that's
that's
what
maybe that's what I did.
But
I
if
just
you
don't
got your
remember.
license when you were 16,
Yeah. Well, I did.
Well, they
just
have
get-
like pre-register to vote now.
really?
That's
Yeah.
true. at
Yes, so
16.
So maybe
Because
that's what
Jackson
happens.
has his license, and he's like, "Mom, guess what I did today?" So what'd you do, buddy? Aside from get your license, he's like, "I registered." I said, "Register for what?" And he's like, "To vote." I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" He
Hang
goes,
on.
I pre-did it.
So then
Yeah.
maybe that's what I did.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe it
that's
was like
what
a
it is.
pre-registration, and then
Yeah.
once you hit the right age, the 18, they
Yeah.
send it out to you. That might be what happened.
Yeah.
So they're getting you to register as a Democrat when you're 16. and then it just
Most
arrives
likely.
at your door when you're 18 and you don't know.
Yeah.
And I
you
see
do
how this is
well.
going.
Actually-
They send them when they're young and
So-
dumb.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Actually, what happens? I actually
and dumb
noticed.
and full of
I
terrible
just
choices.
realized this was coming out, but my biological sister, said to me a couple months back. She goes, "Hey sis, what about the voting?" I'm like, "What about it?" She was telling me that she had received something that said she was an independent, so she couldn't vote for a Republican
In the primary.
and that's
in the
primary,
primary.
yeah.
And I said, "You better fix that ASAP."
Mhm.
ASAP, fix that ASAP. And she's like, "Oh, they won't work with me." So she called Congress.
Good for her.
She did. Yep.
That's
she,
what your congressmen are there for. Like
Yeah.
most people don't realize that they're there to like mitigate certain
Yeah.
issues that you
Yeah.
have. They're not just there to pass laws.
Right.
Like they're there to help you with whatever's going on in your
Yeah.
county if your county legislators are too busy doing other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet if I looked you up, it'll tell me all of your affiliations. It'll tell me
Yeah.
what you're, because not Instagram, Google,
Mm.
if you Google someone like my name, it'll tell you what my party affiliates
Yes.
are. They'll
Yep.
tell you who, all the things.
They like dox you.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yes.
Yeah, it is kind of creepy.
Interesting.
It's really
Yeah.
creepy.
And that's supposed to be private.
So
Is it
just-
What do you
not?
think the first thing is I do when you're like, I met somebody? I'm like,
Wow. Wow.
Listen, nobody does more
I do it
research than a
too.
concerned
I do it
mom.
too.
Just saying.
You
I
got that
dare
right.
you.
Are
I
they
dare
a
you.
good person? Are they nice? No, just are they Democrat or Republican? That's
And
all you
tread
need to know.
lightly if a woman ever tells you she doesn't mind being corrected.
If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong.
Allie, I have a question
Yes,
for you.
ma'am.
So, there's a lot of controversy about needing an ID in order to vote,
Mhm.
right? So, as I understand it, the controversy is that you don't need an ID to vote. But
Uh-huh.
every time that I go,
that's right.
I have to give my ID.
Right.
So, is the law in Florida that you have to show ID?
I think,
How
yeah, the
does
law
that
in Florida
work?
is you have to show ID in order for you to vote.
So it's
Mhm.
the controversy is regarding other states.
Well,
Right.
and other
kind
states-
of confused about that.
Mhm.
I'm glad you asked that. Other states, what they're trying to do, a lot of these activist organizations, NGOs, are trying to make the case that some states should walk back the requirement for an ID because it's racist to ask somebody to go out and get an ID to be able
Right.
to
Wait.
vote.
What?
Yes.
Is
Tell me,
racist
tell me I'm wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
wrong.
to
Okay.
ask
crazy.
someone for
It's-
ID
it's
to
racist.
vote?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me.
It's racist because black
How
people.
is that even possible?
Black people don't have access like everybody else does.
You better stop.
To the DMV.
No.
I think it's
Oh my
racist to
gosh.
say that.
Absolutely.
That's it right there.
100%.
Crazy.
Highly.
It's so crazy.
Highly. And then, I mean, I've seen videos where there have been journalists that are walking the streets of New York City like, hey, so do you have an ID to vote? And they're like, yeah, well, do you know how to get to your local DMV to get an ID? They're like, yeah, well, do you think that it's racist for people to say that you shouldn't have an ID in order?
I
They're
am
like,
scratching
what?
my head with
It's wild.
disbelief.
It's crazy. You know, the party of inclusion and the party of
It's just
let's worry about the
excuses.
we care about the black and brown people. Meanwhile, they're telling you you're not black if you don't vote Democrat.
Yeah.
That black children don't know the different. They don't know what a computer is,
Well,
or
they make it about race.
black kids are just as
Yes,
just
exactly.
as smart as
They make
white
it.
kids. Like what? This is coming all from the party of the communists in America. Like this is they're all the racist ones.
Yep.
That's
Well, they
so
make it. They make it
disturbing.
They
about.
do. They make it about race. So that's all they have. They don't have anything policy, principled, anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
They have murder.
What were you going to say, Brian? I'm sorry.
I was
I
going to say
question.
they make it about race because they think that if they make it about race and it's too much of a controversial subject, you're not going to push back.
Mm-hmm.
I push back
Question it.
all the
Push
way
back.
through. Go ahead and tell me something.
I
is
love that.
disgusting.
Well, it's something that we have to pay attention to. I know we talked on this a couple of episodes actually prior, but we have to do our job. I mean, our job is to get out there and vote, yes, but I think we're being called to go even beyond that now.
Absolutely.
To be able to volunteer as a poll worker,
Yes.
to be able to be there. You know, the steal happened, I believe, in 2020 after we all went to bed. You know, and a lot of people were saying that they were there to be the poll watchers and they were asked to leave. They were told we're done counting. They sent home a lot of the people. They had a water main break
Yeah.
in Georgia.
And then the suitcases came rolling in.
That's right.
Full of ballots.
That's right. That's
so
right.
crazy.
Have you seen that video? Just crazy. So in Georgia, after the voting place was closed, I think it was in an auditorium or
Yes, it was a huge.
it was a huge room. I remember that from the video. So the security cameras show a car pulling up, people unloading suitcases, carrying them in, and then they just start running the ballots through the machines, counting them. 3 times. I think they went through 3 times, right? And it's all on video. And the video was on the news, and still, like, nothing happens. And Georgia was won by what, 10,000 votes?
I think so.
It's
So
minimal,
absurd.
But your former
Crazy.
president has been a convicted felon on 34 counts. But these people in
Unproven.
Georgia,
Unproven.
Unproven.
No evidence
On
of
false-
any kind. False
false pretenses, false charges. But we have actual evidence of people stealing an election.
Video.
Video,
Video.
evidence, not allegedly.
No.
It's video proof.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
It's just,
Oh, man.
I don't
Make it make sense, y'all.
understand. Yeah, I just don't. I'm so baffled. I mean, I realize that there are people in control that have an agenda
Mm-hmm.
and a goal and
Soros.
a plan, and that they've been in control for a long time. But I still just don't understand how we can ignore something as obvious as that.
Right.
How we can ignore something as obvious as this sham trial that President Trump just went through. Like, even people who aren't on our side
Right.
should still see how
Oh, they do.
crazy this is.
They absolutely
The
do.
biggest injustice, and that's why you need to keep donating, not so much to the party, but to the candidates, because lawfare is a real thing. And unfortunately, sometimes that can happen even within our own party.
Oh, it's already
Does
happening.
anyone know how much was given to Trump after that whole thing took place?
200 million.
$200 million. That's a
I love
smack
it.
in the
And
face
30,
for you guys.
30% are first-time contributors.
Can you imagine that? Like,
Thank you,
Wow.
Democratic
Yes.
Party. You just made him relatable.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Right.
I love that. That is
Someone
campaign
wrongly
gold.
convict me,
Yep.
please. I would love some money.
You want them
Exactly.
Somebody
I
said
love to be
he's
wrongly
got
convicted.
3 baby mamas, and now he's a
gosh.
convicted felon, so he's the first
Oh, my
black
goodness.
president.
No,
Oh
no,
my
no.
gosh.
No.
Oh my God.
But it's so funny. I'm sorry.
So funny.
I love it. I saw a meme
hilarious.
on Facebook where they said, you know, it kind of Stormy Daniels had this face, and it said when she realizes that she was given hush money allegedly to not talk, does that mean she has to give the money back now since she talked?
Right.
And it's like, well,
Right.
it makes you wonder. Guys, I want you to stay tuned for more Homefront. We're going to give you a quick break. You know, we are a citizen-led, citizen-funded, not just our show, but a lot of what we do here on Patriot TV is citizen-led and citizen-funded. So I want you guys to listen to this quick message on how you can help us here on the Homefront. We'll be back with more Homefront. Stay tuned.
Hi, guys. Thank you for tuning into the Homefront. My name is Michelle. You know, I wanted to welcome you to a new program that we have through the Homefront. Some of us, as we've seen what's happened in our country, we think, I want to get involved. I want to do something. Myself, I'm running for office. But guess what? I'm not a crony politician, so to start is very, very difficult. That's where the Homefront jumps in. We're going to give you all the tools you need to not only activate in your community, because local action equals a national impact, right? But also to maybe see if you want to run for office. Are there topics you want to learn more about? Current events? Do you want to know how to apply pressure to politicians at just the right point? Then you want to go to the homefront.tv. We've got a new training program for you. It's kind of how I started. I mean, you don't know these things if you're not a seasoned politician, right? Thank you for joining us.
And if you're like me and you're a Gen Z and you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or wherever you usually find your news information, and you're like, wow, I can't believe this is happening, but you get that gut feeling that's like, is this actually accurate and can I trust this? But then you're like, well, how can I figure out if this is true or not? What, Google? Like, Google's going to tell me if something's accurate or not? You can also find perfect news there. You can figure out what's correct and what's not correct. This will actually help you get more involved. As you know, Gen Z, we're becoming adults, so now it's our turn to start taking the initiative on some things.
They're growing up.
Unfortunately.
And with a bright future.
Bright future.
Okay, and then I'm Demi, and I'd love to just mention really quickly that this training program will also involve the Sheriff's Department. Get involved with your local Sheriff Department. I have a daughter who is in law enforcement, and she has a lot to say, and she said plenty enough on the show and other episodes. You should join in and fight the great fight.
That's
Fight the great
right.
fight,
That's
yeah.
right. And I
And
think,
tune in.
Yeah, like what Demi's saying, the sheriff is so important to know your sheriff and to get involved. So, yeah,
This is a great way.
Absolutely.
the homefront.tv, guys, it's on you to get involved.
Hi, America. Welcome back to the Homefront. We are going to shift gears a little bit. I don't know if you guys have heard about the 8th grader. His name is Jimmy Hayward. This is a story that comes to us from California. So, I mean, I have family in California, but anytime I start with California, it's like, I'm sure it's something crazy, right? Jimmy Hayward is an 8th grader. He goes to a private Catholic high school, middle school, sorry. He was running for, you know how we have these elections in schools, you know, you can run for office. So the office he was running for in his school was Commissioner of School Spirit and Patriotism. So I thought that's kind of cool, right?
That's cute.
He came up with his campaign slogan, his logo. They were allowed to get in front of, like in the gymnasium, in front of everybody, the whole school, to give their little campaign speeches.
Oh, wow.
They had to show the principal what they were going to say ahead of time.
Yeah.
And the principal told him, absolutely not. You can't make references to veterans respecting the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. These are things you cannot.
That was his freedom of speech.
How much?
That was freedom of speech that just got taken away from him.
Absolutely.
Oh
Absolutely.
my goodness.
So what happened? She said, either take this back or I'm not going to allow you to speak. So what happened to this 8th grade boy,
Ooh, I hope
Jimmy Hayward? He went onto the stage. He sat there with his handmade hat that says "Make SBS," which is the initials for the school, great again. He had to sit there while every other candidate gave their speech. He was not allowed to make his speech. His dad said that.
I would have had the reporters there.
Yeah.
What? I'd
The
have called
principal
local
wanted
news.
Jimmy to censor his speech, but because he declined, he was unable to speak at the rally. So they're obviously this isn't done yet, but what do you think of that?
Lawsuit. Lawsuit. I
That's
can't.
just
I'll
freedom
say
of
it. Something in the
speech.
face.
Like-
Lawsuit.
Well, I'm against lawsuits in general, but
Yeah.
I think it's kind of crazy that you have patriotism in the title.
Exactly.
And yet you're not allowed to talk about your country. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Again, this stuff just doesn't make sense anymore. It's so crazy.
And what was he supposed to talk about?
Yeah,
Free
like,
lunch?
what are you supposed to
What are you
talk
supposed to
about?
talk about?
What
Free-
was it?
free
School
lunch, free
spirit
masks?
and patriotism?
So this was the thing I thought, because it's Commissioner of School Spirit and Patriotism, did that mean that obviously he's promoting the school spirit and school patriotism? But why wouldn't that be a great segue for you to have true patriotism? What
Right.
When
That's
in a
exactly what that is.
Well, that's. I mean, the root word patriot.
yes.
Like that's it.
And
That's an
veterans.
American.
What do you do if you're sitting there and you're watching your child have to sit there and watch 10, 12 other kids give up and give their campaign?
Oh, no.
You know what we have to do? We have to send that video that Hadass and Chloe did.
Yeah.
Boom, send that to them. That thing makes me cry every time. But I'm just saying, like, they need to know what patriotism is. Like,
That's.
our
man.
veterans
I know.
fought for you to be where you are today.
I know.
Like,
Oh,
I don't-
Jimmy.
Some of them didn't even make it back home.
We love you here at the home front, Jimmy.
Jimmy Hayward. Yeah.
You can give your
He can
speech
come on
here.
here
Yes.
and give his speech.
Tell him
That's
to send
so
his
cool.
speech, and we'll do it for him.
That's awesome.
Or he can zoom in and we can have him do.
Absolutely.
Let's do that
Yes.
because that is.
Absolutely.
I need to hear about this. I need to hear this baby. That is.
yeah.
Yes.
He's a junior high. He is fresh.
What a way to squash somebody's like.
I would love to know
Creativity.
if that school provides speech and debate, because boy,
Well, and that's the
I want to
thing.
know if they get federal funding.
I'm guessing that's where it's coming from, probably.
Yeah.
It's a
You know,
Catholic
just
school.
like what we were talking about
yeah.
with pastors not able to really speak out.
yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of
And that's
crazy.
another thing that might have something to do with this, because it's a Catholic school. I wonder if there's something, if there's a part of that where whatever, you know, it has the Catholic Church come out and said we can't make statements about this X, Y, and Z.
No.
I don't think so.
My kids
So
go to Catholic school, and they have patriotic things all the time. and they're
it's
allowed
just
to speak out.
California. I don't know
think
what to tell you.
California.
Yeah, I think it's definitely probably more localized,
Mm.
but still crazy.
So it brings to question, how do we, and Brianna, you might be able to answer this too, because even though you're not a mom, you don't have children, you're our youngest person on the panel. How do we handle instances where we feel like our children or we ourselves are being bullied or censored? This is a new topic I feel like that we have to talk about now with our young people, is how to, it's okay to have that voice and it's okay to give a little pushback. This seems to be like a new thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't think. Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah.
mom, so I don't know.
I don't think it's a new thing. I think that and coming from somebody who just loves teenagers, I was in youth ministry for a long time.
God bless you.
That's not something you hear very often. I just love teenagers.
I really,
Said no
they're-
one ever.
Teenagers don't
so-
even love each other. What is going on
That's what I'm
here?
saying. She's a special breed. I love
We
it.
love you. Just mess with
I
you.
think that what is so hurtful to me about this story, aside from it being horrible about patriotism, but that they're squashing a kid
Yes.
who's willing to get up in front of other people and speak. And I hate hearing that
Yeah.
because teenagers are given such a bad rep, and they can be amazing.
Right.
You know,
If
they
you-
can be
if given
amazing
the
if
space.
allowed to.
Right.
And so the censorship is terrible, but the fact that they're squashing this kid who's just trying to be a good person is really sad. But I don't think it's a new thing. I was in my graduation speech, I was salutatorian, and I was told that I wasn't allowed to speak about my Catholic faith. I graduated Baptist high school, and they said in my salutatorian speech, I was not allowed to bring up my Catholic faith at all.
Wow.
And it's very important to me. It was then, it is now, and I wasn't allowed to speak about it. So I can kind of relate to him in how horrible that felt. But in my own stubborn way, I came out with a gigantic miraculous medal. And I just decided to wear that outside my outside my graduation
found a
robe
way.
because I wasn't
like-
going to be squashed. And so for this kid, don't be squashed. Don't let them put
Civil
you down.
disobedience.
I love that.
I love that. That's
Well,
amazing.
you know, I
You gotta
could
do what
think
you
it-
gotta do.
While you're talking about teenagers, okay, so you're already extremely, like 8th grade, you're already extremely insecure. You're already questioning
That's
like
a
so
horrible
many
time
things.
of your life as
What
a
could
middle
that
schooler.
do to someone's self-esteem, to their, I mean, it's just, I think that's part of what makes it so
But if he
heartbreaking.
has great parents, they're going to boost him up. They're
Yes.
going to be right there alongside with him, cheering him on regardless. And the fact that he still showed up and sat in there was more, it was louder for him to do that, sitting in silence, than it was for him to open his mouth, because it got to you.
Yeah.
That now came to us and now to you viewers.
Yes.
So I think there was more power in that.
And that cute little hat, make
Oh, my-
SBS great again. I thought,
Oh, my
that's really
goodness.
cute.
So great.
Trump needs to get a hold of that.
For sure. For sure.
Yes.
I think what would make the story, it hurts my heart too, from that aspect of like squashing this little boy's like just ability to speak for himself and to step out into something that may have been a little uncomfortable to do. And if he didn't have anybody to come and bat for him, I think that would make it worse, right? And I think, especially for, myself, I think I've always been someone that has kind of spoken for those that can't speak for themselves. I mean, my brother was born really sickly, and so I was kind of like the in-between of bullies, and like, if you're going to go through my brother, you got to go through me kind of thing. But I've always been a voice, but I've always found it very difficult to speak up for myself. But once you do that and you kind of take your power back, it's extremely freeing, and there's nothing like that. And I think what he did by sitting there with his little make SB whatever it was great again is like it's an amazing silent like protest.
And it might have been more impactful for him and his friends than had, like you said, than had he actually given the speech. I think it's interesting. My daughter, when she started freshman year at a public charter school, she'd gone to private school her whole life and went to a public school, and it was in, I want to say it was in 2021. I should know what year she was, but I don't. And she had her MAGA hat like just clipped on her backpack, and she'd walk around school with her MAGA hat clipped on her backpack. And the principal came and said, "You can't have that on your backpack. We're not allowed to have any sort of political statements." And she said, "Okay, I'll take it off." And I was so proud of her. So Alex, you go, girl. I was so proud of her because she said, "Well, I'll take it off, but shouldn't the girl with the pro-choice pin and the LGBTQ rainbow take their stickers off
Right,
too?"
because
And
it's all
not
political.
Yeah. And the principal said, "Okay, I'll have to go talk to them too." But I was so proud of her.
Very good.
So good.
As
Very,
long as
very
it, you know,
good.
if it's fair, if
Then
no
yeah,
one's allowed
fair.
to have it,
Yeah,
then that's
Make it
okay.
fair.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. If it's a rule for everybody, then fine. And I was so proud of her for standing up
That's
for that.
amazing.
So good.
But I also thought it was crazy that they came and made her take it off.
Right.
The great thing about this article that I was reading about this young gentleman is, you're right, him sitting there and not being able to talk made
Mhm.
every kid in that school, how come Jimmy's not talking?
Right.
There
How
you
come
go.
Jimmy's
He
and
became the
now
top.
it's one of those things that, you know, it's like, okay, this is what the enemy
Yeah.
meant to do to him,
Yep.
using it for good, because once that curiosity is piqued, he now has become the person bullied, and all the kids want to just,
Mhm.
well, we want to hear what Jimmy has to say, you know. So it's gonna backfire for
Yeah.
that school, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. When you tend to grab hold of something so tightly because of fear of letting it go, you end up losing it anyway.
Mhm.
Ooh, say that again.
good.
You always have
For me,
such
Allie.
great
Allieisms again. Get your notebook out. Go ahead, Allie.
So when you grab a hold of something so tightly in an effort to not lose it, right? You end up losing it anyway.
Yeah. End up
Ooh.
killing it.
Yeah, you kill it
Chokehold.
and you lose it anyway.
Mhm.
And so their attempt to silence him only made his voice louder, and he didn't have to say a word.
And then that's
So
that's what
true.
I meant when I said that. Like
Yeah.
his silence was bigger than him opening his mouth and saying anything, because it got to you, to us, and now to the viewers.
Making
And
its
he
way
won
around.
by
Yeah.
30,000 votes.
You know what? I look forward to 20 years from now when we're talking about, you know, Congressman Hayward or Senator
Right,
Hayward. I
yeah.
mean, this is going to be, I think
Yeah.
the kid's got quite a future.
Mhm.
Do you guys, it kind of segues into the next thing I want to talk about, which is bullying. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, whether it's, you know, online or just because of your, well, even having a show like this, there are people that this just baffles them that we're allowed to do this, and we are a whole bunch of names because we're here doing this. How do you handle, I mean, we're adults, but how do you handle it? Is there a graceful way to handle that pushback when people are calling you every name
I
in the
don't know
book?
how to do things gracefully. I'm very aggressive. My sister likes to say, "You're assertive," and I'm like, "No, I'm aggressive."
I love it.
I love
I
that.
love
am.
that about you.
So I'll speak first on that. Really, I'll make it as brief as possible. My son Jackson had gone to public and private and charter, and even when he started from wee little age of pre-K,
Mhm.
he had got made fun of. And they said, "No, we don't want to play with your toys. Your toys are gross." And what he had were antique Star Wars toys. They're so hard to come
sit by me,
Oh
right?
my gosh, right? You would think. And this kid was kind of nasty, and he made fun of him. And then from then on, 2 years into, because they had to travel in the same school, and within this, they end up in the same class 2 years in a row, going on their third year. And finally, they started making fun of his stutter. And I said, "Son, some of the most important men in our lives were men who stuttered, who had
Amen.
hard time speaking. Let's talk about Edison. He created light and he stuttered. Let's talk about Moses.
Moses.
One of the greatest men who freed God's people stuttered. And I had to give him a book of names of different people. We went to libraries to do this, but they made fun of him. They bullied him to the point where I said, "Okay, it's just kids being kids. They're being stupid." But then when it was adults,
What?
it was adults, and that's why I pulled him out of the private school. We were paying thousands to this private school, and the adults were bullying my son, and literally to the point where I openly said something in a big open space. What do you call it? The gymnasium.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. I have no hair on my tongue.
Yeah.
And I told that teacher off. I'm like, "Who are you to belittle,
girl.
degrade, and make my son feel as though he should be ashamed of himself and anything that he put his hands to? Who the hell are you to talk to my son like that?"
Throat punch.
I
love
was
it.
so angry, and
Yes.
my voice, like I told you, I got a loud voice in this itty bitty body, and I told that woman off. I got an email that night, and I was told I was never welcome to come back. I was never welcome to come back to the school again. That I had to withdraw my son. I said, "No, you're not going to bully me. You got the wrong mama. You got the wrong woman, mister." And I sent my son to school every single day.
Did that come from the principal?
It came from the principal. The principal. And then parents like, "Oh my gosh, Mrs. So-and-so said this and Mrs. So-and-so said that. And she said in front of all the other parents and she said this and that." And that the teacher who I was directing my concerns to was just withering back. And I said, "Pick out somebody your own size. Pick out somebody who's going to come back at you and correct you when you are wrong."
Right.
I said, "You're not going to do that to my son. Never again will you talk to my son this way or treat him this way ever again." And it was like, she didn't know what to do with herself.
Of course not.
So I had to repent to my son because I kept sending him back and they kept pulling him out of class. They kept badgering him.
Really?
Badgering him.
gosh.
You're never supposed to be in a private or public school setting. You're not allowed to be alone with a student.
Right.
This principal will pull my son out of class and have him sitting outside in the hallway or in the the picnic tables outside the school, sitting with him. Oh, you mess with the wrong woman.
How did this
I don't know how to do things gently. I am just so in your face and I get violent.
Especially when it comes to our kids.
My babies. Don't
Yes.
mess with my babies.
It's a
That is
dangerous
so
You
place.
do whatever you want to me. You say whatever you want to me. You spit in my face. I don't care. But when you're messing with my family,
That is a
Oh, that's
dangerous.
coming to you looking for ideas.
No.
I don't think any of
She's
us
like,
are
nope.
good with this.
no, I don't know.
Bail.
I don't know.
There's
I'm gonna need bail.
I'm not sure.
It is a dangerous place to be. In,
I don't
in,
know
in the
how to
space
do it
between a mom
gently.
and her children.
I
That's not a
actually
place
seek
where you wanna be.
counsel. I'll call somebody and I'll say, all right, so this is what happened. I need some direction. I really do.
Yes.
Speed dial. I'm like,
Right. What do I do in this situation?
here's what happened. I just need to know how to address it in a gentle way.
Yes,
and then
I
they'll
do
say,
that.
I'll
I do
email it to you. I'll tell you what to say, what words to use.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I literally,
that.
I have to seek counsel for that.
Oh, see,
I
that's
did that a lot
do.
when I ran for office because I was sitting in rooms where I was called white supremacist and blackface. I was called an Uncle Tom, which doesn't make sense because I'm a female. And, you know, a Republican statist bootlicker, like all of the derogatory terms you could think of.
You were bullied.
And I was just like, and? Why?
Yeah.
Because I want children to be able to read and not go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want our children to learn how to write and be sufficient in science. Like that's why I'm that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just kept coming back. And I just I don't give up well. And if that
yes.
don't tell me I can't do something.
Right, exactly. I
See,
love that.
I'm a fighter.
I
I'm
love
a fighter.
that.
I don't know. Just
I
put those
kinda-
gloves on and we're
You
gonna
know,
duke it out.
we would get those commenters on some of our social media pages
Oh,
and
yeah.
just thank you so much for triggering the algorithm. Thank you so much for triggering the algorithm. God bless. And then they're like, that sounds like that's your answer. Kind of like God bless you. Or God bless your heart. Or,
Oh,
or,
bless your heart.
Bless your heart. I'm like, yes, it is. It's my
It
version of
is.
bless your
well,
heart.
I mean, as a kid too, I was bullied. So I went from this little small town, Lawton, Oklahoma, to like Newark, New Jersey.
Ooh, huge.
Look up the two.
Big difference.
Very, very big difference. Lawton, Oklahoma, nice little country town. My little country girl accent. And I went to like the gang capital of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Now you got your black accent.
Yes, and now I'm a little hood and a little holy. And it's all
Little
good.
hood rat.
No, but I mean, I was bullied. I had my hair was long and wavy, like curly, curly Spanish curls, and I had girls trying to cut my hair. I had girls trying to fight me.
I
cut
had
my
that when I
face.
was little.
I didn't
What is
speak
it
like
with
them. I
girls?
didn't.
Oh.
It was an awful experience. I had teachers do the same thing. I was literally bullied out of a high achieving class. Because I was bullied by teachers, and I would just go home and I'd cry, and I would just have to be sent back because my mom was like, "You have nowhere else to go. This is just where you're gonna have to go to school."
Wow.
For me,
And
it
so I
was
had to figure
guys.
out
Yeah,
how to.
It was guys for you.
For me, it was guys. I was in like first grade, and there was this guy. He literally was like pitting me up against the wall and choking me out, and the teachers were not doing anything on the playground. And so I kicked him.
Good
girl.
Dumbass.
High
Good
five.
job.
And then guess who got in trouble with the principal?
You did. Yep,
Yeah.
that always happens.
So we were called in, and it
oh, I
was
hope you
like
celebrated.
it was like she's leaving early. We're taking her out for ice cream.
That's
Amen.
it. That's
Yeah.
it. Oh, high five, mama. Right there, right there. That's what we
That's
do.
what scares me about having my little one around other.
Oh,
She knows how to do like arm bars and like rear naked chokes and stuff, and I'm like, I am not ready for that phone call.
So I've been there, actually.
Really?
My 7-year-old, I get a call from the principal not long ago,
Oh.
actually, and it was just, you know, I probably shouldn't say his name, but he was in another fight on the playground.
Oh,
I'm like, another one?
Yep.
Another? He's my 5th kid. He's given me gray hairs. He's a wonderful kid. But she's like, but I want you to know we're very proud of him because there were another group of little boys who were trying to pull down the pants of another little boy, and he pushed them away. And when he was going to tell the teacher, another kid knocked him down from behind. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and then he was definitely doing some wrestling moves. And I was like, oh, yes.
so was he doing wrestling?
he's
go
a
get some
wrestler,
Haagen-Dazs
so
or
he
something.
got up. You know, the kid, he had a bloody tooth and everything from getting knocked
Good.
down. He got up and he took the other kid down and was on top and waited for the
It's
teacher to
muscle
come. I was
memory.
like, good for him. Like, he
Right.
was doing the right thing. So
That's
he
what
didn't
I'm
get in
saying.
trouble
That's
because he was defending the other kid. But my question for you, Allie, is do you think that what you went through made you a stronger person?
absolutely.
Because my dad was a military. No, I don't know why he moved around. His dad wasn't in the military, now that I think about it. But they moved around a lot.
Yeah. Well, it makes you
Anyways,
resilient.
Sorry.
Makes you resilient. Yeah.
But he
does.
was in new school. He was always a new kid. And so he got picked on all the time. And I said, Dad, do you think that made you stronger? And he said, well, it made me find how to get revenge secretly because he was little.
He's the little guy. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing, but it made him stronger. Do you feel like it made you a stronger person?
I think so. I mean, because you have two options. You can either cower or you rise above adversity. And as a teenager or a younger kid, you kind of don't really know what that's like until you're in it.
Pushed into it. Yeah.
And you have that
Yeah.
choice. Like, do I continue to let these people, pick on me and bully me or whatever, or do I defend myself? And at that point, you have a choice to make, and whichever choice you make is essentially the cycle you tend to live.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so I've been hit, I guess, up against this wall of needing to defend myself. And needing to protect myself a lot in my life. And I've noticed over the last several years, it's been consistent. And the more consistent you are with knowing your value and your worth and defending that with all you have, it becomes a whole lot easier. And because of what I went through, it's made me who I am, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But I'm also able to use what I've learned and implement that in my own children. And I think that's the
I love
saving
that.
grace.
And that's what I'm thinking is going to happen to this Jimmy Hayward as well.
Absolutely.
We're not done hearing about him. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. I want you to hear just a little bit about how you can help support the Home Front. We'll be back with more of the Home Front. Stay tuned.
Hi, guys. Thank you for tuning into the Home Front. My name is Michelle. I wanted to welcome you to a new program that we have through the Home Front. Some of us, as we've seen what's happened in our country, we think, I want to get involved. I want to do something. Myself, I'm running for office. But guess what? I'm not a crony politician, so to start is very, very difficult. That's where the Home Front jumps in. We're going to give you all the tools you need to not only activate in your community, because local action equals a national impact, right? But also to maybe see if you want to run for office. Are there topics you want to learn more about? Current events? Do you want to know how to apply pressure to politicians at just the right point? Then you want to go to the homefront.tv. We've got a new training program for you. It's kind of how I started. I mean, you don't know these things if you're not a seasoned politician, right? Thank you for joining us.
And if you're like me and you're Gen Z and you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or wherever you usually find your news information, and you're like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. But you get that gut feeling that's like, is this actually accurate and can I trust this? But then you're like, well, how can I figure out if this is true or not? What, Google? Like, Google's going to tell me if something's accurate or not? You can also find perfect news there. You can figure out what's correct and what's not correct. This will actually help you get more involved. As you know, Gen Z, we're becoming adults, so now it's our turn to start taking the initiative on some things.
They're growing up.
Unfortunately.
And with a bright future.
Bright future.
Okay, and then I'm Demi, and I'd love to just mention really quickly that this training program will also involve the Sheriff's Department. Get involved with your local Sheriff Department. I have a daughter who is in law enforcement, and she has a lot to say, and she said plenty enough on the show and other episodes. You should join in and fight the great fight.
That's
Fight the
right.
great fight,
That's
yeah.
right. And I think,
tune in.
Yeah, like what Demi's saying, the sheriff is so important to know your sheriff and to get involved.
Yes.
So, yeah,
This is a great way.
the homefront.tv, guys, it's on you to get involved.
Hello, America. Welcome back to the Home Front. If it's okay, I'd like to try something a little different for this next segment. I want to have a little bit of fun. We're either going to sink or swim, one of the two. I want to kind of play a quick game of Would You Rather. It's kind of like lightning round. Were you excited?
Rihanna.
What is going on with me?
I don't know.
It's like my body just has these reactions. First, it was like Daddy Depp a few episodes ago, and now it's
Daddy Depp, Johnny Depp. I love it. Okay, so
Okay.
we're gonna start. We'll start with Allie.
Oh, okay.
No.
We'll go this way, and then for the second one, we'll go back this way. I won't make you go first every time. Okay, so the first one,
Lies.
would you rather? And you've got to just kind of answer.
wait. Is this like fire rapid questions, or are we taking our time and thinking?
You can take your time to think,
Okay.
but I kind of do want
Fast.
Rapid.
really cool. And it's gonna be super fast. Okay.
Fire round.
Look at us.
Okay.
We'll spend more time with getting that. How is this happening?
I'm so stressed out right now.
Okay, so would you rather, start with Allie, would you rather stay fit physically or mentally?
Mentally.
Mentally.
physically.
Ow.
Physically?
Because if I'm fit physically, I'm
Okay,
fit mentally.
That's how I
Well,
feel.
that makes
That's how I
sense.
feel
Wait,
too.
say that again?
If I'm fit physically, I'm
You're
fit mentally.
That is true. There is
Yeah.
science behind that. So you're absolutely right.
That's
But you did
it's-
say rapid.
not actually. Not
No?
always. No, I know a student who was so focused on being physically fit because he was so insecure and he felt inadequate to do certain things or say certain things or go places. So he was focused on being fit, being fit, being fit. I will stick with my answer. I stay
Okay.
with
Mentally.
mental.
I guess if you're fit mentally, you don't feel the need to be fit physically.
There's that.
Well, there's some people that can't be fit physically that are very, 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 very brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's true too.
See, and so my answer came from like, where do I struggle the most? Like, I don't struggle
Yeah,
mentally,
yeah.
like
Same.
mentally strong, but physically is like, oh, I want to get more healthy. I want to get healthier.
Same.
Yeah.
You know, eating the tamales doesn't help any, but so that's
Or
funny.
my late night dark chocolate snacks.
That's my favorite.
I love how she said dark chocolate because it's healthier.
It is healthy.
Look.
With a
It's
little bit
also
of
a lot
sea
more
salt.
disgusting. I'm
You don't like dark
sorry,
chocolate?
no.
red wine too
Oh.
is good. Right?
Oh, okay,
Chocolate red
ladies.
wine.
What
We're
we
like
need
this.
to do
We're
is
like,
get some
what's in
red
the cup?
wine, some strawberries dipped in dark
But
chocolate,
I'm
a little bit of.
Oh,
Well,
I'll have
no.
my-
I
I'll
like
have
my
little
whiskey
mocktails.
there too.
Some what?
I've got whiskey. I've got a whole cabinet. What do you want me to bring this weekend?
Reserve, ma'am.
I'm gonna send you a
Oh,
screenshot of my
reserve.
whole cabinet.
Yes.
I'm talking. I've got loads and loads of whiskey, honey. I got
It's gonna be great.
watch
Oh my
tonight.
gosh.
Hey.
Okay, here's the next one, guys.
Okay, next
Ready?
one.
Guys, I totally don't feel like I'm missing out at all.
Okay, would you rather have more time or have more money? I'm going to say time.
Oh, I'm going with money.
Money.
Are you
More
kidding?
money.
I say time.
If you have more money, you have more time because you don't have to work.
Oh, there you go. What's yours?
I don't know because I don't like to not
Time or
work.
money, Allie? Time or money?
Okay, I think time. Let's go with time.
Yes, Allie, let's be real.
Okay,
here.
more money. I want more money. No, I don't. That's hard.
Money.
This is so hard.
Are you kidding me? What would
Because
you do
if
with
I-
more time? Work more?
Yes, I would make more money.
If you have more time, you can find other ways to make that
more
money,
money.
flowing in.
I don't want to make more money by like
Listen,
working.
honey,
I just want to have it.
You don't have to always physically do
This
a
is
job.
why we talk about
You can
sugar-free
delegate
daddies.
that job. That's what entrepreneurship is. You come up with the
That's still a
idea,
lot of work.
you delegate the job, and you get money
But
flow.
that's still more work. Whereas you
Yeah.
could just have the money handed to you.
I'm with you.
I
Give
don't
me a
know.
trust fund.
Wait, I
right?
thought you were.
a trust fund baby.
Wait a minute. I thought she was a patriot. This is not a Democrat show. Where are we?
Listen, I can be a lazy patriot.
Oh my God. What do they call those?
If you
Work
have
smarter,
more-
not harder.
Yes, amen.
Yeah.
to
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Pull yourself up by your
what we do?
bootstraps,
I don't
ladies.
even know if we're going to finish this segment the right way.
Okay, here's another one, and I love that Allie's going to have to be the one to start this.
Oh,
okay.
God.
Would you rather be the cowboy riding the bull or the clown who distracts it?
Save a horse, ride a cowboy? I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I just totally got what it registered just now.
Yeah, could we save the bull and ride the cowboy instead?
I'm sorry. John Rich, I love you.
Well, let's see.
question?
Would you rather be the cowboy riding the bull or the clown that distracts it?
Cowboy. Cowboy.
I'd ride that bull.
Absolutely.
Me too.
I would want to to be the clown because I'm not going to be sore the next day.
Amen. She's like, I'll just fly the flag and run out the way.
Yeah,
My husband will find it
very
sexy with me doing that.
fast. So I
He's
can
like,
get away
baby,
from
I'm
the
coming to
bull.
you.
Right. Less chance of injury.
And
I get it.
the cowboy's only there for what, 8 seconds or less?
I mean,
right?
usually.
Isn't it 8 seconds to goal? I don't even know.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That's
put a
good.
woman to the job.
But
You
the
watch
clown
her
gets
handle
to
that
be
thing.
like in the whole show. Like I would want to be the clown.
I can't. I cannot. There's so much wrong with this question.
All of our minds went somewhere.
in the garbage
In the gutter?
disposal.
You were in
We
the
are
gutter?
like in there. Oh, what's in our coffee cup?
I didn't even get a coffee
It's
cup.
definitely not whiskey.
It would be a whole lot. It would be a whole lot
No, I
worse.
can't share that.
It would be a
Oh my
whole lot
gosh.
worse.
Her white coffee.
Okay, my answer is I would rather be the cowboy riding because I think that's a good strenuous exercise. Actually,
Well,
and
there you
I
go.
want to be
Little
physically
hip
fit.
workout.
Lord. Okay, next would you rather, and I guess it's going to start down here.
I can't.
Would you, oh my gosh. Would you rather give up showering or the internet for a month? I'm going to
internet.
say internet.
We all said
Oh,
it.
sorry, you were starting.
No. Internet?
I would go for the internet for sure.
No, because oh my god, I'm crying. Hear me out here. The beach exists.
The beach exists.
Just like skinny dip, okay, and then you're fine.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
That's our Gen Z, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
know, salt water is very cleansing.
It's good for your
It's
skin.
exfoliating.
No, it is.
It's
not trying to say. I'm not trying
I
to.
mean, it's full of whale
Listen.
sperm. I don't know. Like,
I'm not trying to say I've done it before.
Oh my
It doesn't work.
So
Demi, what
listen,
did you say?
dirty. You
Demi.
dirty. No,
I
no.
can't.
I would give up internet in a heartbeat.
Internet for sure.
You know, you can literally like create a shower by just poking holes in a water bottle and just.
well, so was it giving showering like
Showering.
all forms? Like you have
yes.
to go
Like, I
without
should be dirty?
cleaning.
Yeah, like you don't
Yes.
get to clean
But
yourself
hear me
at all.
out here. Then I can just like it's an excuse to stay home for a month on my phone on the internet.
Oh my word.
Oh,
You heard
wow.
it here, guys.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this one's going to have to start with Allie. Ready?
Oh gosh.
Oh, would you rather live your life as the opposite gender or start your life over again as a kid? So are you either going to
that's
live like a
rough.
man right now or start all over again as
I
a
don't
kid?
know if I want to be a
I
man.
don't know.
I would be a terrible man. I'm just. I don't know.
See, I would be a kid. I would do
I would-
life
yeah,
over,
I would do it
but I
over.
would hopefully have the knowledge that I have now and know
Hmm.
what to do, when to do
Oh,
it.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'd say I'd be a man because I feel like I would make one lady out there very lucky.
It would be a problem if I was a dude. I'm just saying.
Well, these days you could. You could
Oh
try and be
yeah,
man.
true.
Well,
But
yeah,
I
be
think
careful what you
I'm
wish
good.
for.
I think I'm good.
I already have a male alter ego. It's no. That's not.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I would totally be a kid again. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I had a great childhood. I was, running around free, barefoot, playing outside in the mud, whatever I wanted. It was great. I would totally be a kid again.
That's beautiful.
I think also
I wish I could go back actually and just be a kid for a little while.
If there's no trauma in my childhood, I would absolutely be a kid again.
Yeah.
I think I would honestly want to be a guy, just because, like growing up, I was kind of more of a tomboy. Like I was more of a wild child, and I faced like a lot of so you're gay because you don't want to be in a relationship. Oh, so you're trans because you don't like wearing skirts. And it's like to grow up without that. I wonder where my life would have been.
Well, I didn't have to
Yeah.
deal with that. I was a tomboy too, for sure.
Mhm.
And it was just different then. Like that never came up. I don't even think I knew what gay meant
Right.
until I was a teenager, probably,
Yeah.
to be honest.
See,
So
until
you
I was
have
in,
a
like, high
different
school.
Yeah.
experience,
That's not
for
true.
sure.
Because my uncle was I say was because he's passed, but my uncle was gay, so I kind of knew, not like the ins and outs of what that was, but I just knew that his lifestyle was different.
Yeah. Well, the word gay wasn't a word then. It was called, well, let me see. I am the eldest here. They would say things like dyke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would. You're
That's
right.
what the word
I was
was.
called that.
That was a word back then.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I chose, I would want to be a kid again, but only if I could be a kid again when I was growing up. Like, I want to go back to the 80s.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that era because, being able to ride your bike anywhere, stay out till midnight, not midnight.
No, 10 o'clock.
Till the lights
street
come
lights.
on.
Oh, the street lights.
come on.
Okay.
Because, a perfect example,
like the
Brianna was
last
very
feral-
rugged,
Yeah.
very, very tomboyish, but nobody ever made, at least in our family, made the assumption that, so this means that you need medication because you have to, your boy, because you feel like, and
That didn't start to the 80s.
yes.
And also, it'd be kind of nice if I had guy friends that didn't hit on me for once.
How about that?
Because the thing is, like, I
beautiful.
always have like a lot of guy friends because they're crazy and they're chaotic and I like it.
And they're fun.
You know, like let's
Guy friends
let's
are
go
fun.
flip it. Let's go flip the truck. Let's go four wheeling. But they all end up liking me, and it's like because
I mean, it's
Well,
bound to happen.
When you have a lot to offer, that's what's
They
yeah.
they see that in you.
when you
enough.
have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just about being beautiful, which you are, but it's
There's
being
value.
smart, successful,
You're fun.
driven,
Yes.
fun, and so you have a lot to offer. So,
Yeah.
That's why.
and my dad always said that boys don't want to be your friend.
yeah.
No, not ever.
If they are your friend, it's because they would prefer to be your boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
that
was
makes sense.
100% the
That's
case
the
for me.
Okay, so I would say yes to that, right? But with the homeschooling community we have, they literally are friends. They defend each other, they cover each other, they have each other's backs.
That's lovely.
And I'm talking, these are boys and girls, especially my daughter's, small class of 12. When we do community day, these boys are always protecting those girls. One time did we ever hear that one of the boys liked another girl in the class, and it was anonymous because they didn't want to ruin the friendship. It was so cute.
That's so
It's so
cute.
cute, right? But they were never like,
Come in your homeschool class.
you can, yes. We're having a dance. I want to tell you about it because I know you like these
But I'm
types of things.
19.
It's okay, I'll sneak you in.
Okay. I'll put my hair in pigtails.
No, you don't have to. It's a Renaissance theme. I'm just saying.
I have a
That's
perfect
fun.
dress.
Oh my gosh.
She already
Okay,
has
so
the
we'll talk
dress. She
after.
literally already has
We'll
the
talk
dress.
after.
That's fun.
Okay.
Guys, this has been fun. I think we'll keep the rapid fire for
I
another
like it.
episode. This has been
Please,
fun.
yes.
I like it.
We
That's
are
fun.
almost out of time, so I want to make sure we direct our audience to our home front homework today. We talked a little bit about elections. We've talked about it before. Guys, you can go to usa.gov. That's the nationwide website to go to, usa.gov. You'll be able to click on your state, be able to find out how to register to vote. It's not too late for the primaries, when your local primary is, and how to get involved. That's how
Yes.
you'll be able to find that out, usa.gov. Guys, we're going to shut it down with some prayer here. So
This time
and
I'll do
obviously,
yours.
if you feel like jumping in to pray, let me know. Join us at home, guys. Thank you. Father God, I'm so grateful for laughter. Sometimes in the times we live in, Lord, I know your will for us is to be joyful. We are joyful, I hate to say joyful warriors, right? Lord, I thank you for joy and for laughter and for wonderful, strong women to be able to share this with. Father, we do want to lift up our home front, not just our show and our reach, but also just our home front here in the United States, Lord. We can feel the heaviness. We can feel the times that we're in, the turbulent times that we're in. Father, we know that you are the author of all things from beginning to end. And Father, we just ask that your hand would move mightily across our nation. Wake up our young people. Wake up our senior citizens who maybe feel like there's nothing left that they have to give. Lord, give us that call to action that we've heard talked about in previous episodes, where we get out, we register to vote, we become a part of the solution. We are to occupy those seats of authority, Lord. We were never meant to abdicate it. So I just pray, Lord, that you move our country to get involved and to move for you. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. Please visit thehomefront.tv. Until then, we will see you next time. Take care.